Welcome to the Active Hub podcast.
Conversations to motivate, inspire, and encourage you on your movement journey.
I'm your host, Ricky Bolmers.
And I'm your co-host, JT. Welcome back to another episode of the Active Hub podcast. If it's your first time here, thank you for joining us, and to all our regular listeners, thank you for your continuous support. Today we're honoured to be joined by Maddi Beck. Maddi Beck is an online fitness and nutrition coach from the Mornington Peninsula. She's involved in lots of different communities and has got some pretty cool things that are going to be launched soon. So welcome to the podcast, Maddi.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for having me. I'm so excited.
Pleasure. And I think this is your first podcast, you were saying.
So, it is.
Yep, getting the nerves out. I think we haven't had too many guests who it's been their first podcast, so...
Oh, I'm the lucky one.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So, well, just to ease those nerves, we always like to ask a few quick fire questions, just so our audience can get to know you a bit better. So to start off with, are you a morning or a night person?
Morning.
Yep.
100%.
Oof. That probably goes with your...
Makes sense.
Yeah, with your lifestyle of being...
Yeah, I'm such a nana. I will go to sleep at like 7:30 at night. Okay.
That is...
Yeah, no.
Very early, wow.
No, up and... Yeah.
Wow, okay.
That's impressive. That's when I'm waking up.
Yeah, I go to bed pretty early, but 9 I think would be early.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
What time would you be waking up?
4 or 3. On weekends, don't know why, but like 3:30.
Oh, wow.
Just my body
done.
doesn't want to sleep. I guess so. Yeah, forces me, I guess, to get up and do my thing.
I always say most productive hours going to be those early hours, so might as well get up.
So the early bird gets the worm, but
Absolutely.
the early worm gets eaten.
Great.
I'm a worm. You're a bird.
Great.
And it's good for you. Bad for me getting up early.
Sorry.
Are you a coffee or a tea drinker?
Coffee.
Yeah. What's your coffee order?
At the moment, lactose-free latte. Just simple, basic, I guess.
Yeah, nice and easy. Jacob, do you want to ask this next one?
Yeah. Oh, your favourite way to unwind?
Ooh,
After a big
great
day.
one. Weirdly enough, actually a cold shower. I feel that I can regulate myself and my central nervous system a lot more. It forces me to slow down and actually focus on being in the present moment as well. So
That's a good one.
just doing that and no phone, just relaxing and doing my thing. Yeah.
What would be one thing you can't live without? This is a tough one.
I would say connection with people, like true connection, not just having people coming into your life and just because of it, like having that true connection as well. Yeah.
How do you
So
build a
important.
true connection?
I would say that I guess over the years you learn who your people are and you have those boundaries, and I feel that when you know someone and you let them in and you just have that feeling, you know that they're your person, I guess. So that's how I guess base it off. Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Musical.
Yeah.
Very well said. I forgot to mention for our audience as well, we have Jacob joining us today as co-host.
There we go.
Ricky, as Ricky would do, is in hospital with an injury.
He's fine.
He's okay.
Couple of stitches
from a surfing incident. So his surfing buddy Jacob is here. I'm sure most of you know
There you go.
Jacob through Active.
You've seen me around the traps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But enough about Jacob. Maddi, why don't you tell us a bit more about yourself, some things about your family and hobbies, where you grew up, that kind of thing.
Beautiful. Where to start?
Yeah.
We'll start from where I grew up. So I lived in Dramana first and grew up on a couple of acres. I was never really inside as well. I was always an outdoor, I guess, kid, which I loved. We had a few animals on there and I just loved being out in nature. I still love it to this very day as well. It's something that's very important in my life and something that I do live by. And so, I guess I grew up with my dad. Unfortunately, I lost my mum at a young age as well. And after that, we merged families as well. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. We moved in together. That was still kind of on the Mornington Peninsula, so we're still around the same spot there. And that's when I started to have my love for fitness as well. As I was growing up, I used that as my escape, I guess, as well, which a lot of people start off that way. Whether that's a great thing or not, it's, I guess, where it led me to this moment now. And so that was in CrossFit. So I did that for a couple of years when I was probably 14, I would say. And this is just a basic overview, I guess. And then I started, obviously, my few jobs at the time as well. So I was working at dusk, if you know what that is.
Yeah.
Candle shop?
Nice.
Yep.
Yep. Like
You're on
the
it.
Buzzers.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, with the diffusers, love it. And then I also worked at Anytime Fitness as well, was a PT, group instructor, was doing full-time study as well, and then that's, I guess, how I transitioned into where I am now.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's like a
massive.
very basic overview.
Yep.
Family, it's kind of just myself at home, and I love that. I love my own space as well, and my dad's there sometimes he's out as well, and I just find the beauty of being like inside, like actually inside and present within my own body as well, and then just doing my thing as work comes up, which is quite busy. It's very busy. It's very long days, but I would never change it for the world. It's so beautiful.
That's so good.
Yeah.
What made you get into like the PTing and the working at gyms to start with?
So it all stemmed from, I guess, my own struggles as, you know, my younger self, of struggling with, I guess, body dysmorphia, not feeling good enough as well, just not feeling worthy, all of that. And I wanted to change. I thought I wanted to, you know, get healthier and fitter and skinnier. And that's where the CrossFit started as well. I also loved some healthy competition. I was very competitive. Still am, still in my blood. And yeah, I guess that's when it all started as well. And I kind of went away from it for a little bit, and then I came back into it, and that's when I started studying throughout school as well. And then I did placement throughout lockdown, which was fun.
Can imagine.
Yep. And that's when I started working at Anytime as well. Was in the office there for a few years. Loved that, taught me a lot in terms of customer service and sales and all of that as well. And then transitioned into group classes, PT as well. Did that for, I believe, 3-4 years. Years are just getting away from me, honestly. Like, it's ridiculous how quickly time's going. And then I was doing that for, a little while, doing both online coaching and PT. Very long hours, working 7 days a week. And then I'm just like, you know what, it's my time just to surrender and trust that everything's going to be okay and everything's going to actually work out for me. And that's when I went into online coaching, and I've been doing that for 2 years now. So that actually first developed after surgery. Surgery did not go quite well. So that's when I started business coaching as well. And then through that, that's how I built my business too. Can
you explain to the audience what online coaching actually is for anyone who doesn't know?
Absolutely. So there's different types of online coaching. So obviously, as you guys said, I'm in the health space within fitness and nutrition and mindset as well. So pretty much what I do is I program clients with their workouts as well. We have form checks. We do monthly catch-ups as well. We've actually got one this Sunday, which is exciting. We're going to do Pilates. I've actually never done Pilates myself, half scared, but that's all right. And then we work in the nutrition space as well, which is so important. And just working on their relationship with self and food as well. That's something that I'm very, very passionate about. And we go through macros, how to track them, if that's something for you. Not everyone does that, and that's so fine, depending on where you're at and what you've maybe previously gone through, your relationship with that as well. And then very heavily in the mindset space. So every Friday usually I do a live and I do an educational video on whatever needs to come up for that week, what they may be struggling with. And we do weekly check-ins as well, and we just have a group chat, and it's kind of just like one big family. It's so beautiful.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
That's really nice.
What are some common things that come up on those Fridays for the regular listener? Like if we're generalizing here, but like what kind of things would be you find come up a lot, and what would your advice to that be for someone who could be listening with that?
I guess a lot of it is coming down to actually trusting yourself as well. A lot of people struggle with that step. And that's going to translate into so many other areas of your life as well. You know, with confidence as well, I always say that it comes originally from having that self-trust, is following through with what you set out to do each day. Also, if you miss a couple of things, like that gets to be okay as well. We are human, but as long as you're showing up to honestly your best ability and you're putting in the work and you're really, really, really doing what it takes, then it just comes, and it honestly comes from what's inside of you as well. It's not an external thing at all. I wish I could have told myself that when I was younger.
Yeah. So do you think a lot of people struggle with like having confidence in themselves, and you're there to kind of back them up?
Yeah, absolutely. And also speaking on that as well, I feel that a lot of people just don't like even give some things a go as well. They just don't have that trust within themselves to take it to the next step as well. So that's why it's really important for me to nurture them, but not only that, but to challenge them and to help them take that next step for themselves as well, and just to really embody their next version of self too.
Yeah, right. Perfect. So from a more practical standpoint, let's say like I came to you and was looking to get some like coaching, what would it look like from like a week-to-week basis?
Yeah, cool. So at the moment, I actually do coach females in terms of that. Yeah. So that's what I do. And through that, we would have a call, and then we would see we currently may be struggling with how to improve that. And then you'll have access to me from Monday to Friday through WhatsApp as well. You do have your own app as well that I do have for my clients. So that's where all of your training sessions would be. It would be where your calories, where your macros are, to track all of your stats as well. And then, as I said, you'll have your weekly check-ins. So I'll do it's called a Loom video. So essentially I can go through your stats and make those improvements and acknowledge what you did well as well, and how I can, push you forward as well and support you in the best way I can.
Yeah, perfect. Amazing.
So,
I think that's really cool, like that you kind of set everything up for them, like their workouts and their nutrition, because a lot of people can get lost in that. There's so much information out there on the internet, and you kind of don't know what to read and what to understand. And something that I found really valuable myself is when I was trying to bulk up and put on some weight, I was like looking at all these different diets and things and foods to eat, and I just didn't know. So I just went to like a nutritionist and had them help me out for about 6 months, and it was so valuable because those people can actually like use their like studies, their profession, and see what works for them, not just what works for like the wide population.
Absolutely.
Everything on the internet's a bit cookie cutter, so I think for some people it can be really scary to take that first step to go into like a coach or someone online. But how have you found it to I guess affect people in their lives?
I
have
work
you seen a lot of change from people?
100%. I have a lot of people, just to add to that as well, I love that as well, but also in saying that, it's not just educating them and telling them, okay, this is what we're going to do, blah, blah. It's actually having that evidence and explaining the reason why we're going to do that approach, and understanding that, okay, we're just going to test it out. So, for example, I never put a client in a deficit at all because I don't know what their body's going to do. I don't know exactly where they're at as well. And just seeing how their mind reacts to it as well. So I think that's what I wanted to add to that too. So coming back to, sorry, do you want to just repeat the question?
Yeah, so as in, obviously it can be scary for like people to first take that step to getting like coaching that thing, but have you found that people, once they do take that step, it can really change their life? Absolutely.
I have a lot of people that have no confidence within themselves. They really struggle to trust themselves and see, I guess, a bright future for them as well. I have a lot of people who have gone to quote unquote professionals like the psychologist, and I definitely think they 100% serve a purpose, but I definitely know that a holistic approach that is addressing the mindset, you know, the mental blocks, the physical blocks as well, and also, you know, the physical aspect and all of the pillars that are involved in health, like mind, body, spirit as well. That is where a lot of the change does occur and does happen as well. So I have a lot of people that have been in a really dark space, not really wanting to maybe be here as well, and we've been able to work together for quite a while, and now they're doing the things, they're doing everything that they wanted to do, and they never thought it was possible. And I'm just so privileged and so grateful to be there for the journey for them, and to be that support, and to be on call as well.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
This my question is sort of like, it can be hard to talk about yourself in you want to sort of stay humble, but as like a shameless flex,
here we go.
Could you just share with us some milestone achievements or things that you're really proud of that could be inspirational for us?
Okay, yeah. So I used to really struggle with my own self-worth and self-confidence, and now I get to, I guess, crew with a lot of great people that are relatively high up there, I will say. So I've got a lot of opportunities from that as well, and it's just getting over that one hurdle to get to the next step. So I've worked with some great people as well that are pretty well known, as I said, and that's been an amazing opportunity as well. I've come from the bottom all the way up. Not that I'm high up or anything like that, but it's just beautiful to see my own transition with what I've accomplished, you know, running community events as well, having my clients, and now launching this really cool thing that I'm going to be bringing to the table tonight. So that will be really exciting as well. But yeah, that's kind of like the basics without saying too much, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. You said before that, you know, you kind of struggled in your own life with like the confidence and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you want to share like why you think that it's like that, not only for yourself but in the world, like why a lot of people and a lot of your clients are struggling with that like self-confidence?
It's so easy to compare. Yeah, great question. It's so easy to compare, especially as we were talking about before with social media.
Yeah.
I think that it definitely can be used in a good way. You just have to have that foundation and that strong self-worth within yourself as well. And a lot of people just put, you know, the highlight reel up, which is what a lot of people do. And that's why I try and bring it down and actually be real with people, because it's not always like that as well. So I definitely think that a lot of people struggle with that because we're always on our phones as well. A lot of people just compare and think that that's their reality, in which it's not. So
What made you realise that and get to the place where you are now?
Great question.
Really,
I love it. Just throwing them out. Love it. I guess I don't even know where to start in terms of that.
I guess on your own journey coming up through like that fitness side of things, did that build your confidence then, or is there a pivotal moment where you were in a place where you kind of had that change?
Yeah, definitely. 100%, very much so. So when I would have been in school. I would have been year 8. I was always someone who wanted to get 100%. I was always someone who was a perfectionist. I had those high standards for myself, which is a great thing. However, it can affect some people in a negative way. And I was always, you know, I guess looked down on in terms of family sometimes. Well, I felt that way. I know now I wasn't, but I perceived that way. Yes, and same in terms of school. I always thought that I was bigger than everyone. I never thought I was good enough. I just really struggled with that self-worth. I had a lot of things happen in the way that have definitely shaped me to who I am today and play a very big role in terms of what I speak about in terms of CBM And I remember just so vividly being so like broken and so lost. I had no idea where to turn at all. I was not in a good headspace at all. And I was so annoyed at myself for staying in that way and to not do something about it. And it got to a point that I was just not willing to, I guess, stay here anymore. And I knew that I needed to change. And that's when I got my first coach as well, my health and fitness coach. And how that space was just inspired me so much to do exactly what I wanted to do now today. And that helped me honestly so much. It was my saving grace. And it was so beautiful to have that community that people would actually genuinely get you and support you every single step of the way as well. So that's where it all started to switch for me, to really invest in myself and to work on my self-worth as well. And it just started to get like slowly but surely better and better every single time I did that. So yeah,
awesome.
How would someone find a coach if they were interested in following that path as well?
I think definitely watching what they do as well, how they speak, their morals, to see if you're actually, I guess, aligned as well. And yeah, a lot of people feel that maybe they don't need a coach, and that also gets to be okay as well, as seeing where you are within your journey. I think that's also really important. But if you are thinking about it, I think just taking the first step, having a conversation with them. It doesn't mean you have to coach with them. It's just seeing if you gel with them as well. I think that's an important thing that some people might get scared to reach out, because it'll be like, as soon as you do that, it's like you're locking yourself in. Absolutely
but
not.
You can kind of just see if that relationship works and go, and just be honest with them. Hey, like, I think I'm going to try something else. I think most people out there are pretty like comfortable and okay to say that's all right. Like,
absolutely.
Want the best for that person. So.
100%. It's kind of just like talking to a best friend. Just that conversation. I think that's the beautiful thing.
And where do you find coaches?
I'm trying to think even how I found my coaches.
It'd be a lot of it would be social media now.
All of mine were social media. So I guess I had been following my other coach for some time, and I just kept watching. I'm like, I'm going to do it. Backed out, never did it. And then eventually it got to the time I'm like, no, it needs to be now or never. Otherwise I'm just going to keep staying exactly where I was or go backwards. And I just needed to take that step, that leap. And oh my gosh, I am so glad I did, because I would have been, I have no idea where I would be. So I now even have 2 other coaches, not actually within the health and fitness space, within the business space, and that's beautiful as well. Their support is unmatched.
That's great. I think some other places as well is like obviously word of mouth and communities.
Absolutely, community.
I found mine through like a friend at the gym. And they were like, oh, this person here, and then got onto them through the gym. So there's a lot of places I think you can find it, but I think social media would probably be the number one at the moment.
Word of mouth is a big one as well. Is you want to know that they are going to be the right one for you as well, because there's so many different people out there as well, and you want to find your person. It's so important. You're going to open up and share a lot with them. Like, I know a lot of stuff, I guess, about my clients that their best friend doesn't even know, or their parents don't know, or their siblings don't know. That's the beautiful thing. So it's really important that you find the right one for you.
That's great.
I want to ask the question, just backtracking before, when you're talking about how you went from that place where you weren't as confident and then to getting yourself to where you are now. I feel like that transition takes putting in place a lot of good habits and setting things up and making changes. What are some concrete habits that you have in your life that our audience might be able to implement into their life, or at least take something from?
I would definitely say a bit of a morning and night routine as well. Is we talk about our dose, and in the morning what I like to do there is have movement, have water, have sunshine. So dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. It's really important to make sure that you are in a good state for the day as well. So many people come to me, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed. I've just gone to work. This has happened, that's happened. Every light was red. I'm like, but you've done that to yourself. You've just got to remember, you've got to take that time for yourself in the morning and to set yourself up for the day. And, you know, of course things are going to happen throughout the day, but it's how you react to it. You know, you can't change these things. So it's definitely going into the day, having a really good solid foundation, getting some movement in, nourishing your body as well. Oh, what else would I say throughout the day is I would just surround yourself with the right people and the right conversations as well. You get to choose these things as well. And your brain is remembering every single conversation you have with people, and their thoughts and beliefs are going to be put onto you. So just make sure that you are surrounding yourself with the right people and the right communities as well.
And in building habits, do you have a good tip to, when you start a habit, it's not a habit until you've been doing it for a while.
Until you keep doing it.
How do you keep doing those things that you might find difficult to do, even though they're good for you? What motivates you to persist?
I would find things that actually work well for you and that you enjoy. There's no point on doing something that you're going to hate, because it's just going to fuse out, and there's just no point on doing that. And just finding a different way and doing that. I guess building that habit, I love reminders in my phone. Honestly, that's how I started off doing a particular thing. So if I'm drinking whatever it is, water throughout the day, I would just set a reminder to do that. And just keep doing it, building that self-trust and making sure that your environment is also supporting that goal as well. So if you want to train in the morning, if that's a goal or a habit that you want to implement into your life, is ensuring that you are getting up in the morning when you set your alarm. And that could be putting your phone on the other side of the room, is making it a little bit challenging to do that thing, and doing things differently as well, challenging yourself in every way that you can.
Great. No, that's really cool. I want to touch on, you had some training that you just did recently.
Yes.
NLP training. Do you want to tell us what that is? Because I had no idea what this was when I was looking it up. But do you want to tell us a bit about this and your experience with it? Yeah,
so that's very recent. I've just come back from that, and it was such an amazing transformational experience. So NLP.
True.
Yeah, in Gold Coast. So NLP is neuro-linguistic programming.
I still don't know what that means.
So essentially, to break it down and to chunk down on it, it's reprogramming everything within your body, your belief systems, your thought patterns. It was very much dealing with all of the stuck, I guess, energy and trauma within your body and releasing it in a beautiful way as well. And it's just going against the grain and really challenging yourself and, I guess, reprogramming everything that you believe for yourself. So that could come back to self-confidence. It could come back to how you maybe like treat your kids and how you go about that. It just relates to everything in terms of life. It is the basis of everything. It is a lifestyle approach, honestly.
Yeah. The way I've kind of thought of it is like, I guess when you would to be like journaling, you'd be getting out like those little thoughts that are in your brain, but this is kind of like getting out those thoughts that have been stuck in your like your body and your mind for a long time. It's kind of getting those out there and like putting them out into the world and saying goodbye to them. Would that be an accurate description of it?
Yeah, definitely. And there's so many different exercises that we did to do this. So there's so many different approaches, and one of them, in terms of like deep trauma, was ECT, so emotional change technique. And this is working on, you know, getting a lot of anger out, because usually when we look at trauma in the body, it's so easy just to ignore it and be quite numb because we don't want to deal with it. We don't want to feel uncomfortable. Of course we don't. But a lot of the time when we get to layer one, I guess, it's the sadness. So that's when the tears come and we're like, yay, I'm fixed. Yay. And then, no, unfortunately, that's not how it works. It's that next layer deeper. So a lot of the time it's anger and all of that. So that was the really interesting thing, is getting to the root cause. And I noticed when I was doing NLP training, I was previously diagnosed with endometriosis. That's why I had the surgery. That went terribly wrong in the end, which is a different side story. And I really struggled within my gut health, and that was something that I was really, really passionate about. I had so many different severe symptoms. I'm like, am I broken? Like, what is going on with me? I had no idea. It had been happening for so many years. And I had gone through so many different naturopaths. I had seen so many different specialists and I had no idea. I thought I had dealt with everything, you know, I was all groovy, I was all good. And then it turns out there was still that extra little bit of stuck, I guess, energy and trauma within my body that I fully was able to release whilst being over there, and that was honestly insane. I am still speechless from that, because it was just so cool to do that particular type of breath that we were doing and the particular type of training, and I have truly healed my body completely, and I do not say that lightly. It was insane.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Is there some certain techniques that people could use themselves that you could share?
Because you do have to be qualified for it, it is a little bit more challenging to explain it
in this format.
What I would do is I would do your research as well and look into NLP. I did it through, if you want me to say, Elizabeth and Walker, training and coaching, and she was amazing with what she facilitated and just the team as well. I would definitely look into it. It is something that I would recommend a lot of people, if not most people, do in their life, or at least something. I'm trying to think if there would be anything. I would just regulate yourself. It could be like a simple breathwork technique or slowness, and just like asking yourself, you know, even just simple as what you're grateful for, you know, what's going on in terms of your body, like doing a body scan as well, seeing where you are feeling a little bit like agitated and stressed as well.
That's one thing I don't think many people do, is like a body scan, like see how the body's feeling. We're always so like go
Absolutely.
on to the next thing, and we don't take time to listen to our body and say, hey, like, what does my body need? Does it need recovery? Does it need sleep? Does it need movement? So that's a big thing.
What do you mean by body scan?
I guess just sitting with yourself, seeing like you know what you need. I guess you can probably talk about it a bit more.
Well, I guess you can feel it within your body, whether it's like heat or angst or wherever it may be. So for me, a lot of it was in my stomach as well, and that's, I guess, where the gut issues came from. And then when I started to do these particular exercises, I tested it because I was interested. I'm like, no way can I be cured from this within just a 7-day training. And I had these types of foods, and it was honestly healed. And it was because I was really sitting into the present being of myself and feeling exactly where it was within my body and where the stuck, I guess, energy was, and heat and, you know, anxiousness.
Sometimes it's like not something that'll be like directly there, but just being like, what is it that I'm doing to my body, like what stresses am I putting on, and how can I help, I guess, my future self not get in those issues. Like for myself, I was putting my body under a lot of stress a few months ago, doing a lot of like running and exercise, and I wasn't hurt at the time, but I thought if I don't do something, like my legs are going to feel it in a few months, like I could injure myself. So instead I was like, okay, what do I need to do to help them? So, you know, went to see like a physio and that kind of thing. So just make sure you get on top of it, but it's just about like, I guess, sitting with yourself and being like, what is it that my body needs?
Sorry.
I
was just going to say, just to add to that as well, a lot of people will have all of these symptoms. They're like, oh, I'm just sick, or I've just got gut issues, or whatever it is. No, there's a reason why you're having those issues. It's because you've had those little niggles, you've had like the little feather come across your nose, and it's like, hey, I'm here. And then that's when it builds up and up and up, and then that's when it takes a bit more time, or a lot more time, to actually address the root cause, which I'm so passionate about as well, is actually figuring out what's going on and if there's any other things coming up from that too.
Now you are another one of the members of the Oliver's Hill Run Club, as we've had a few people.
Yes.
What does like community like Oliver's Hill and your own community mean to you?
It's everything. It's honestly everything. It is, if not the most important value that I hold for myself. Just surrounding yourself with the right people is just, it does everything. You know, it's going to translate into so many other areas of your life. We are so dictated by the people around us as well. We all know that saying, if you have a circle of 5, you're the 6th.
Yeah.
So it's really important that you're really assessing who your friends are, who you're hanging around, and the Oliver's Hill community is just, again, it's so beautiful to have people that hold you in that space, are there for you, and you can go there whenever you want, and you're never going to feel judged. You're never going to feel that you don't belong there. Kind of does a really beautiful job of that. Yeah.
Yep. And you have your own community of your clients, I guess. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, again, it is the best thing in the entire world. I love it. And again, just holding that space for them. A lot of people, as they start out on their journey, they may be not surrounded by the right people. And that's something that we really go into and debunk as well, is whether those people around you are supporting you in the right manner and the right way, or if it's time to maybe see less of them. And that transition can be really hard. Very, very hard. And I myself went through that. So being able to hold that space for them and to surround them as well. So I guess CBM, the community, like I said, it is a family. We are one big family. We are always there for each other as well, and we have those community days to really just support each other and to be there, you know, through honestly thick or thin, as cliche as that sounds. And it's just so beautiful to hold that space. It's everything. It's so amazing. Yeah,
it's cool. And so leaning into some communities is obviously a lot of movement that has to do with that. Where do you see the correlation between movement and mental health? Again,
it's, I guess in terms of movement and mental health, it's obviously going to change a lot of the chemicals within your body, as we all know that. But it's just having that respect for yourself, and again, not feeling as alone. A lot of people like to do movement with other people, and not only is it going to benefit your social health, your emotional health as well, but physical health. And it's just bringing those all together. It's just a magnificent thing as well.
I love that you know, can not just affect your like physical health but emotional and social if you do it with those other people, which again ties back into those communities.
Absolutely.
Is there anything coming up in the next few months that you're really excited about that you'd want to share with the listeners?
I guess my launch, I can say that now.
Coming out.
So
this will be post-launch release.
So NLP, so that will be going into a lot of the deep trauma work as well that we hold within our bodies as we are programmed, and I guess we are remembering in our subconscious mind as well. So that's going to be working with a lot of, I guess, trauma clients as well, and uncovering what is there, no matter how far that they have pushed it down within themselves, it is still there until we address it. So that's my next step. So I'll still have my one-to-one capacity within fitness, nutrition and lifestyle approach. However, I will be welcoming that approach on board as well.
That is exciting.
Big time. It's huge. It is honestly huge. I've been wanting to do this for so long now, and I haven't found the right thing that I can implement into my business that is going to address all of it. It's going to be incredible.
That's awesome. Right. Keeping yourself nice and busy with that one, I'm sure.
Yes.
If people wanted to find out more about that, or potentially sign up to be coached by you, or find out more information about you, where can they go to hook in a little bit more?
So if you did want to find where I am, Coaching by Mads, that's just me on Instagram. And if you want to find out more so in terms of NLP and those particular techniques, I love, as I said, Elizabeth Ann Walker. She is incredible, and she was my coach in terms of that, and she has taught me so much. So I'm ready to implement all of that in as well. It's going to be a big time.
So just send you a DM on Instagram if you were wanting to
we can just have a chat. Go into the DMs, we can just have a chat. If you want, we can book in a call and just see where you're at with life, and we can just assess, you know, what's going to be the best approach for you and how I can support you moving forward.
Amazing. You shared some really good things today, and definitely, I guess, given us some ways to live a more holistic life.
Yeah.
Is there another message you'd want to share just with the audience before we finish up?
Yeah. I would say trust your intuition and just go for it. Just, you never know what is going to come from these situations if you don't give it a go. I threw myself in the deep end, and I just kept going to all of these events, even if I went alone. And doing those events have honestly led me exactly where I am, because I just kept showing up, going all in, putting up my hand, asking questions. And it actually gets to be okay to be, you know, the student in the room as well, and to learn as much as you possibly can, because that's an incredible thing to do, because that's how you're going to up level every single time. So just go all in, trust yourself. And just, go for it, honestly.
Yeah, see where it takes you.
Absolutely. You have no idea until you just try and do it. And if I don't believe in failure. I only believe in feedback as well.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Wow. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate your time.
Yes,
hopefully our audience can either get connected with you or take something out of today's message.
Yeah,
I know
definitely.
Jake and myself definitely got something out of it today. So thank you for being with us
Beautiful.
today.
No, thank you for having me, guys.
Pleasure.
Beautiful. Amazing.